Hi guys, welcome to another beer review, and I'm just going to say this now. I could have probably overhyped this beer for myself, but it just excites me, and I'm very, very excited to finally get to try it. And if you haven't realised already, I am a big, big fan of German beer. In fact, I think Germany's got the greatest brewing heritage and brewing culture in general, and it's got such a unexplored craft beer scene for those outside of Germany. There are so many fantastic traditional and craft breweries that are just not getting the love that they need, and it's great to see that there is a German craft brewery starting to get a lot of attention here in the UK. And at the very least, I hope beers like this will sort of inspire the British craft beer drinker to not only go to Germany and go to places like Berlin, Hamburg, Bavaria in general, the Bavarian part of Germany, because there are just so many stones, these beery, beautiful stones, that need to be turned over and devoured. And you know that I'm excited for a beer when I come up with these bullshit analogies. But yeah, so pick this up from Hoptimism in a little haul that I did. And we're going over to, and my pronunciation is absolutely terrible. I've only been out of Germany for about 6-7 months now. Not that my German was great or anything like that, so I apologise beforehand for the mispronunciation. But we're going over to FUERST WIACEK, I believe that's how it's pronounced, and this is the can of the Exploding Rainbows, which is an IPA with Mosaic and Mosaic lupulin powder, and we've got malted barley, wheat, oats, yeast, hops and water, and of course these guys are based out of Berlin. And the best before date is the 19th of July 2018. Currently reviewing this towards the tail end of May. So not too sure if this is one of those examples where it's just like a few months shelf life, which seems to be pretty common now. But I've been seeing a lot of people drinking this recently, which I'm assuming it's from the same batch that I've got. And they're saying that it's just tasting absolutely wonderful. And speaking of wonderful, have a look at that artwork. It's a paint by numbers piece of beauty. I need to know who's done that artwork because it looks fantastic. And I saw that they've got t-shirts with this design on which look phenomenal anyway. But yeah, so got a big buzz when these guys were at Hop City, I believe. And yeah, heard a lot of good things from people whose opinion I really do take seriously, like Rob from Hop Scene, who's been drinking this occasionally recently. It's a big mess of all these hazy IPAs and pale ales now. But yeah, I was in Germany a few weeks ago for the Regensburg Craft Beer Festival, and I was holding out that I would find at least some of the collaboration beers while I was there, but unfortunately I didn't. But yeah, from Optimism I picked up a couple of beers that these guys were involved in. This one and one that was brewed in collaboration with, oh, I can't remember what they're called, but you will be seeing a review of that in the future. Or you might have already seen it because I'm terrible at uploading these videos. But yeah, 330ml can. Looks absolutely fantastic. I just can't stop looking at it. I love how simple it is. So yeah, let's see what we get with this one. Alright then, the only other hazy German IPA that I've had recently was from Handcraft & Co. And that was their Sundowner, and that was just absolutely wonderful. It really, really was. So we'll see how this stands up to it as well. But yeah, just look at that. Haze for days. It's not really the most vibrant example. It's got that like slight turbid edge to it, but it's not anywhere near going into that sort of like chicken stock or gravy territory. It's still bright. It's got that sort of like lovely mango slushy look to it. That's what it reminds of. It reminds of like the look of crushed ice. although minus like the little crystals and that sort of thing. Yeah, it looks like an ice pop. It just looks absolutely wonderful. These beers do. Sometimes you get some like really yucky, murky like bits and bobs appearances, but this just looks absolutely wonderful. It looks juicy in the glass, and the beer poured with about half a finger's worth of a lovely, very, very slightly off-white head. In fact, no, that is pretty much a white head. Don't know where I got very slightly from. But yeah, mango, orange, grapefruit juice, breakfast juice in a glass, as these beers tend to be. So let's see what we get on the nose. It's just breakfast juice. It's like Saturday morning breakfast juice. Lovely, gentle peach, mango, tropical tones, a little bit of like cantaloupe, melony in general. There's a very subtle sort of citrus character in there. A little bit, maybe a blood orange almost, but it's not really citrusy. I mean, you get the usual suspects of the beers like lemon, blood orange, tangerine, grapefruit. But this has got a lovely sort of like delicate but fruity edge to it. It's not really too pungent or tart. Slight subtle dankness in there, but lovely and sweet. It's like a fruit salad with a little bit of sugar sprinkled on top and then just blended. It smells wonderful, so let's give it a taste. Prost. Straight from that first sip. That's absolutely lovely. That's wonderful. It's so smooth. It's so delicate. It's got this lovely velvety mouthfeel to it as well. It's quite a bit more citrusy on the flavour. I am getting a big orange character in this one. But then it's offset nicely with this lovely subtle mango, lovely subtle peach. You know, you can describe all of these beers pretty much in the same way. But this is just so nice. It's the subtlety of the beer that I think works really, really well with this one. And it's one of those beers that just makes you... That's really, really nice. I tell you what, the hazier IPAs and pale ales that I've had from countries like Germany have been fantastic. And you know, this is from a country that has to deal with purity laws. There is still, especially from the more traditionalist side, there is still a little bit of stigma towards these sorts of beers. Got told some interesting stories about places like Oktoberfest while I was in Germany. But just look at that. It just looks fantastic. Look how creamy that head is. It's like a jelly sweet, like a Haribo jelly sweet in a glass. And yeah, it just looks absolutely fantastic. It's like a solid colour when all that beer's in there. It's so much better when it's all in there. It's even smoother. There's a very subtle breadiness that comes through, which just almost adds a little bit more of a bold body to it. Lovely gentle bitterness on the back end. Not too much, but not too faint. Because as much as I love these like really big juice bombs, it is nice every now and then just to actually, oh yeah, it's a beer. I'm getting bitterness. Because that's a really satisfying aspect of drinking beer for me, is the bitterness on the back end. It's drying out my palate from those hops. And I just want more and more and more of this one. This is one of those ones where, is it the most like exciting or like bountiful examples of the style? No, it's really not bombastic at all. But it's just so beautifully brewed. It's velvety, it's fluffy, it's creamy, It's like got very subtle peaches and cream aspect to it, even though I don't think there's lactose in this one. No, what they've managed to achieve with the wheat, barley and the oats is just absolutely wonderful. And just very gentle carbonation, just enough so then it like just slowly dissipates on the tongue and swirls around your palate. That's beautiful. That is deceptively sessionable. There's no way on the God's green, dank, hazy earth that this is a 7% ABV beer. You're just not getting any like hints of that ABV. Excuse me. That's lovely. Again, comparing it to what's out there now, there will be people who will say, oh yeah, it's okay, it's really nice, nothing too exciting. But to me, I literally cannot pick out any bad points with this beer. And I know because there's so many breweries doing these sorts of beers now that it's hard to have these like 10 out of 10 beers, but this to me is a 10 out of 10 beer because it's a little bit more subdued. It's not green like some of these beers can be. And this is one of those ones where it wouldn't be too sickly to session it, although you would regret it the next day because you could get through a 4 or 6 pack of this like that. It's not going to last long. It's not a beer you can contemplate life with. Do you know what I mean? It's just going to just be absolutely demolished. And yeah, just fantastic. I love this beer, and it's living up to this like hype that I've built up for it. It's just so satisfying to drink. That's the biggest part. It's just so lovely to actually consume. Which some people might say, oh well, I thought the fruity character from such and such's beer was much better, but yeah, it's not loud, it's not in your face, it's not really screaming for attention aside from this beautiful artwork, and I like that sort of like understated aspect of it. So yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 from me. This is lovely, it really is, and I'm so glad that I got to try this beer, and hopefully we get more beers from these guys and more German craft beers, because I've had some of the greatest beers of my life that have come from Germany, both in the traditional sense and this new burgeoning craft beer sense, which is actually like full. It's like exploded in Germany, but we just seem to be getting like the tiny shrapnel of like this. Oh, this is slightly hyped. When like if you got a British distributor to spend a long weekend in Germany to get to know some of these breweries and other distributors within Germany, you could come back with some absolutely stellar world-class craft beer. And for a country that costs us less than like 20 to 30 quid to travel one way, and is literally less than 2 hours away on a plane, you know, go for a long weekend. Go to Germany and take a small suitcase with you, and then come back and have it as hold luggage, because you'll be bringing some absolutely beautiful beers. And yeah, there's a reason why I love Germany so much. Aside from the beautiful architecture, the people, the culture in general, the food, the illustrious landscapes, but then the fantastic cities. The beer is just fantastic, and yeah, it's just sad that I'm just sad that I don't have more of these, but I'm looking forward to seeing the collaboration. I think it was with Burnt Mill, I think that's what they're called, who do some really nice photographic labels. But yeah, I've waffled on for way too long. I do apologise to those watching, and of course to the guys over at FUERST WIACEK. If you've tried this beer, as always, let me know your thoughts, opinions. I think most of my brothers in Haze have reviewed this one, so if that's the case, I'll put their links down below. Check out the brewery, check out Optimism, check out my Haze for Days playlist for some more fantastic examples of the style. And more importantly, I hope you join me next time. And how do I end these videos? I can't remember. See you guys later. Auf Wiedersehen.